What's up, everybody? We back with another video. Today, we're gonna be talking about Martin. All right, we got Martin's stats pulled up. Martin is a shooter slash dunker, small forward who specializes in scoring on basically any area of the court. So first stat we're looking at is a three-point shot. You got 60 at base up there. I think that's only 4 less than Jessica has at base. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. Martin is also an excellent three-point shooter if you just so happen to get the opportunity to shoot one of those. So mid-range shot is 70 at base. That's just a few less than Camille. It's 8 less than Greta, but that does not make him a bad mid-range shooter just because there are better options. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. Close shot, 36 at base. That is a horrible close shot stat. I do not recommend doing close shots with Martin unless you absolutely have to. So dunk, 75 at base. That's a beautiful base dunk stat. That's really close to what Ben has, if it is not the exact same thing. You want to make sure you are dunking on people if the center or power forward just so happens to not be in there. So this entire middle section isn't very good, with the exception of speed being at 51. Now you compare him to someone like Havoc G or Julian, he's definitely like a road runner in comparison to them. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. Martin has a decent speed stat, but his dribble stat is abysmal. So make sure you're not dribbling too much with this man. If you're gonna take the shot, make sure you get it on out there quickly because you will get ripped. So his jump is 64 at base. That's actually a pretty good jump stat. It's 11 less than someone like Zachary, but he has a sprint dunk that he can also use to dunk from a little bit further away. We're gonna talk about that when we get to the abilities. So rebound, block, and power are all garbage, man. Now he has a follow-up shot that we will talk about when we get to the abilities. So his rebound stat is kind of low. I feel like they could have made that just a little bit higher. If he's gonna have a follow-up shot, he should have more opportunities to rebound that ball. All right, so block and power. Block is low, power is low. You're going to guard your person closely, man. And he's a small forward, so he would be able to block from just a little bit further away than someone like a point guard or a shooting guard. And he also has a decent height. I don't really talk about that when we pull these characters up, but him as well as Marcus, they actually have pretty decent heights for their positions. Let's jump to the abilities. All right, we got Martin's abilities pulled up. First one we're looking at, I believe this is pull up. Could be wrong, man, but okay, it's follow-up shot. This is a center and power forward staple, but we're going to read it anyway because this isn't a staple on him in specific. So score the follow-up shot directly after grabbing the rebound. At level 2, you get 2% success rate, and at level 3, you get 3% more for a total of 5%. Now, if you know you're going to be doing a lot of layups with him because that's probably the only way he will be missing consistently, then I highly recommend putting this follow-up shot on, especially if you're going to be using the feint with your sprint dunk. We'll talk about that when we get there. So next, I'm pretty sure this is pull up. Now this ability used to be exclusive to Marcus, but Martin is basically just a small forward version of Marcus with a kit that revolves more so around playing inside the mid-range area. So let's read it. Jump shot quickly during a dribble move or step back. Your shooting speed and disturbance resistance will increase, but your base accuracy will slightly decrease. So you get 2% accuracy and disturbance resistance at level 2, and as well, you get shooting speed +1, and at level 3, you get 3% more accuracy and disturbance resistance for a total of 5% of each, and you also get 1 more shooting speed for a total of 2. Now you look at something like quick shot, that's giving you shooting speed +1. You look at something like quick flash shot, that's giving you shooting speed +2, I believe. So this pull-up is going to be shooting just as fast as a quick flash shot from someone like Katiusha or Fire King. Make sure y'all keep that in mind, but you also need to remember your base accuracy will decrease, so it's highly recommended you use this ability when you are wide open. If you know you're going to get an ankle breaker on someone and you don't want to wait to the end of your dribble move animation so that the big or the person guarding your other teammate doesn't come out there and try to stop you, make sure you pull up during your dribble move if you know for a fact you're going to get that ankle breaker. All right, next we're looking at jab step. This is probably the most important ability inside of his entire kit, man. So let's read it. You can feint and dribble move in the left, right, or back direction. That's right, man. Martin is the only small forward in the entire game that has a step back. He's actually the only person in the entire game that is not a shooting guard that has a step back. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. You're using Martin. Utilize this jab step back. You will see an increase in your ability to make more shots. So level 2, you get dribble move speed and distance +10, and the same thing for the step back distance. And at level 3, you get the exact same thing for a total of 20 distance, 20 speed on your dribble move, as well as the step back. And you also get 3% extra accuracy if you do a pull up during a jab step. So Well, not just the pull-up, you also get 3% extra accuracy if you do a sprint dunk off of a jab step. So make sure y'all keep that in mind as well. You want to get some extra accuracy with those pull-ups as well as those sprint dunks. Do it off a jab step, and you have a much higher chance of getting that shot or dunk on in there. All right, so the last ability inside of his kit, and probably least, especially if the center and power forward is inside the paint, waiting on you to use this. We're looking at sprint dunk, so let's read it. Can dunk from a farther distance by sprinting during a dribble move. At level 2, you get 2% extra success rate to your dunks, and you also get 2% block resistance, and your sprint distance goes up by 10. Then you're gonna get 3% more success rate, and 3% more block resistance, and 10% more sprint distance. And then at level 4, you're gonna get 5% more success rate, 5% block resistance, and 10 more sprint distance. So that's a total of 30 sprint distance, and 10 success rate, and 10 block resistance. Make sure you're maxing this out first out of all your abilities. Well, I probably wouldn't max this out first. Probably prioritize your pull-up. Once you get that to level 3, then I would prioritize the jab step. And then after that, I would recommend maxing out your sprint dunk. This sprint dunk is probably the least useful part of his kit. Just because this is level 4 doesn't mean that it's good. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. So we're gonna jump to the training area. I'm gonna show you every single one of these abilities. Yes, I'm gonna show you the follow-up shot, the pull-up, the sprint dunk, and the jab step. Training area pulled up. We got our man Martin in here. So it looks like my screen is a little bit choppy right now. I must have just hit 10%, man. That's terrible. My screen looks like this a lot of the time. You see me playing trash defense. This is probably why. So first ability, we're gonna look at the pull-up. So anyone that has seen or used Marcus inside of this game already knows what this ability does, but we're gonna show you anyway. So you do a dribble move, and then during the dribble move, you hold your shoot button. My screen is so choppy right now, man, it's ridiculous. Can't even do a dribble move. So there you go. So you do your dribble move, and then you're gonna hold your shoot button. Now this definitely has a shot meter attached to it. For people who have never used pull-up, this definitely has a shot meter attached to it. So try your best to land inside the green, because more often than not, if you're doing a pull-up, you're gonna be contested, especially if you can't lose your defender. Some of these defenders are persistent inside of this game, so make sure y'all keep that in mind. Pull up in their faces every now and then. You don't want to take too many contested pull-ups, because you got to remember, you lose base accuracy when you're using these. So best time to use it, once again, is if you know for a fact you're going to get the ankle breaker, or you know you're going to go inside of a dribble move and your opponent predicts incorrectly. You see them go the wrong way, just go ahead and pull up, man. With that shooting speed +2, they will not be able to stop you. All right, so next, we're gonna take a look at the follow-up shot. We're gonna do some layups up here with that terrible close shot stat, and hopefully, eventually, he misses one so we can do a follow-up shot. There we go, man. And I messed up on the rebound because my screen's choppy. We're just gonna skip past that. I'm pretty sure y'all have seen that ability being used at least 1,000,000 times by now, especially if you've been playing this game for as long as I have. So next one, we're gonna take a look at the sprint dunk. So a lot of people don't know this, but you don't have to be inside the middle to use this ability. You can be on the sides as well. Anywhere that you can actually dunk the ball from, you can also use this sprint dunk. So long as you are not close enough to the rim to do a close dunk animation, then you will be in a position to actually get this ability to proc. Like for example, we're gonna go to the side over here. Not sure if I was too close to the rim or not, man. So let's run that back. There we go. So you just seen me do it from the side. Yes, you can definitely do this from the sides. You can do this from the corner, the paint up here, which I will show you when my screen stops skipping like that, man. Too far away, forget it. We're just gonna take a look at the jab step. So jab step, this is quite literally the most important ability inside of his entire kit, man, because there's so many different uses you have with it. The first thing I wanna point out is you can do a pump fake and still go into your jab step animation. So make sure y'all keep that in mind as well. And also, you want to make sure you are utilizing this step back. And another thing you want to take note of when it comes down to this jab step is that after you do a jab step, it does not put your dribble move on cooldown. So after you get done utilizing this ability, you can jump straight into a dribble move. Like for example, so we're going to go into our jab step here. We're going to fake to the left, and then we're going to go to the right, maybe next time, I guess. So we're going to fake to the left. Then we're gonna go to the right. Just like that, man. So you can definitely switch the leg that you're doing this in. Now, if you do a jab step in one direction and you see them going over there where you put your leg, do not go in that same direction, man. You will run into them and you will drop the ball. Now, sometimes you get lucky and end up getting an ankle breaker. Another thing I want to point out is a jab step back can get an ankle breaker, so make sure y'all keep that in mind as well. This ability definitely comes in handy, man, if you utilize it properly. Especially this pump fake tip that I just gave y'all. If you understand how to utilize a flat shot pump fake, it comes in handy even more, man, because you can put them into the air and then you can skip past the animation where they do a little hesitation before they go into the dribble move. You'll do that dribble move much faster. It's almost similar to a flash dribble in terms of how fast you jump into that dribble move. All right, and the last thing I want to mention when it comes down to this jab step, I know there's a lot of implications you can have when it comes down to this ability. That's why it definitely comes in handy. Now, there is a way for you to do 2 dribble moves back to back off of a jab step. I've only managed to do it by accident. I've been trying to figure out how to use it for months, ever since this man came out and I unlocked him. I've been trying to figure out how to do 2 dribble moves back to back during a jab step. I've done step backs into left or rights, and my dribble move still wasn't on cooldown. I've also did left or rights into step backs and was still able to dribble after I did a left or right dribble move off of a jab step into a step back. So if y'all figure out how to use that consistently, it can definitely come in handy. This is probably one of the few ways inside of this game outside of Marcus that you can get 4 dribble moves back to back. All right, man, so that should just about cover everything. Just make sure y'all keep in mind, master the use of that jab step, man. And also, make sure you're maxing that ability out as at least your first or second ability that you're maxing out on Martin once you get him to SS. It's definitely one of the best abilities in the entire game when it comes down to dribble moves. Now, Martin, he's really good at shooting everywhere, man. Do not be afraid to take up those threes if you're wide open, especially if you haven't been really shooting those for the entire match, because people aren't going to really expect you to shoot from out there. And most people, they just slap an entire 3-point build on their Martin because he's basically just like a simplified version of Marcus. You can put it that way, man. So that's it. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.